Okay, everyone, my name is Savoy Wilson with ClickPro. I'm going to go over installation of a patch panel and termination of a patch panel. Just real quick, again, this is in my little home office environment, so I'm going to, we'll have videos on in a production environment eventually once we get things kind of set up to do that. But anyway, this is a patch panel, and this is something you're going to find in a what's called an IDF or MDF, whichever one. And an IDF stands for intermediate distribution frame, is what it stands for, intermediate distribution frame. And then MDF is a main distribution frame. And but those are basically, in layman's terms, they're IT closet. Okay, so that's where all of your networking cables terminate. We did a class already on terminating RJ45 connectors. There will be one on installing face plates as well. On the other side of the faceplate is going to be your rack. That's where all your networking equipment is going to go, your servers, etc. And your firewall switches are going to go there. So this is where the cables terminate to the back of one of these. It's called the patch panel. Okay. So on the back of again, this was pulled from a production environment, but this is what it looks like. And so what will happen is this patch panel will be installed in what is called a rack or a cabinet, and there'll be posts. They're called posts. You'll install this in a 2 or 4 post rack or a cabinet. The cabinets have cabinets or racks. They'll have rails that come down, and they'll usually be marked in increments of U spaces. It'll be marked 1 through whatever 48, however many U each of those spaces are. And so a rack unit is a 2U rack unit. One rack unit is approximately 1.75 inches, I want to say. And so this is probably 3.5 inches long, I would guess, because this is a 2U patch panel. And so it's labeled across the front, 1 through whatever. It's going to be 24 or 48 ports. They have bigger ones, but most of the time you're going to be dealing with the 24 or a 48 port patch panel. And it'll have probably the model number somewhere, but it'll also indicate what category of cable it's for. This is a Cat 6 patch panel. Okay, on the back you'll see they'll typically be labeled with the color code, and they'll have 568A, T568A, and T568B, which are the 2 standards that are used. Now the T568A is uncommon to be used in commercial settings. These are mostly used in government, for government applications for the most part. For some reason the government always use 568A. But commercially speaking, in businesses, most of the time you're going to be dealing with 568B. And the difference between the two, they handle transmissions the exact same way. The only difference is, if you can see the color code, you can take a screenshot of that. You see 568A, the green color is second, and then it goes to the orange pair, while the B goes orange and then green. So the green and orange are swapped around from 568 to 568B. Blue, green, orange, brown for 568A, and then 568B is blue, orange, green, brown. So green, orange, or orange, green. So like I said, 90% of the time, most of the time, in fact, I've only used 568A one time, and it just so happens that somebody had punched down this entire office in 568A, and I went and, there was existing cables, so I just went in there and I terminated the patch panel. It was like a tone and tag and labeling operation. So I just went in and installed. I went and punched it all 568B, not ever seeing this. I didn't think anybody would ever use it. And it turns out all of the faceplates were 568A. So it pays to go and check before you start terminating stuff. It pays to go check. Just go out and check the faceplates real quick, just to be sure, because it just might be that somebody randomly wired things this way. And then if you go wire the patch panel 568B, you're going to have to go redo it all, which is what I had to do. So I went and redid all the faceplates to 568B, which was a lot faster than me trying to re-terminate the patch panel. Okay, so anyway, this is the patch panel. These for each one of these colors, there's 2 pin spaces. Okay, so there's like I said, when you look at the 568B, we'll just stick with this. and you see that when we look at the blue color, when we look at the blue, you can see there's a blue white. Oops, let me move it over. Okay, so there's a blue white, and then there's a blue white space, and then blue orange white, and then orange, green white, and then green, and brown white, and then brown. Okay, so that tells you which wire goes where on these pin spaces. Okay, if you can see, I don't know if you can see inside of there, inside of each one of these slots, there's a little metal pin. There's a little metal pin right here. Inside of here, there's little metal pins that correspond with the, if you can see inside of here, let's see if I can angle it. You see those pins inside of there? There's 8 pins inside of there. And those all correspond with one of the colors here. And so, as you can see, also they're numbered, so you can see the numbers of the pins. Let's stick with 568B. So they're labeled 1, 2, 3. This is mixed up, but 5, 4, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Okay, those are the numbers. Like orange is 1 and 2. The white green is 3. In the middle is 5 and 4 when we install. This is for if we're installing RJ45s. This shows you where the pins are, and then 7, 8. But it shows you where the pins are, which pin numbers correspond to these pins here. Okay, so that's on the front. So that's why you have to make sure that you put this on correctly. So it corresponds with this, and therefore corresponds with any patch cord that then you punch into your switch. Okay, so the way you do this real quick. So again, it's going to be in your, I do it this way as best I can. If it's in a rack, I take the patch panel out. I put it, I just flip it just like this onto a table or some other surface. I pull my cables out. Once they're dressed, they come in. I just kind of follow where they're going to end up going. And then I go, like each one of these, there is the first 8 wires are going to go in these first 8 pins along here. You see there's a number 1. I said this is a 48 port patch panel. You see the number 1, and there's 8 slots there. So that's what I'm going to do. So what I do is I line up the way my wire is going to dress in. I go to the end of this first slot. This is actually called a 110 block right here on the back of here. But I go to that first, right where that first slot starts. I grab it with my thumb. I put my thumbnail on that right there. And then I just do my scoring. Okay, I score the cable a little bit. Now, again, you got to be careful with this to the point where you don't want to score all the way through that cable. Like I mentioned before, you want to just score the outside. When you first start doing this, you're probably going to get like pretty radical with it and just make big old cuts. But you got to be careful to not do that, okay? So I just score the outer sheath with that. I pull it off. Get rid of the spline and the pull string. Okay, again, angled away so I don't end up cutting any of my wires. So, angled away so I don't cut my wires. So there, here's these colors again. Blue, orange, green, brown. Okay? So here they are. Blue, orange, green, brown. So you're going to line up one of these wires, and you can see, let's just take this one off so you can see. So like I was saying, this is the orange white. You see the orange, where is that? So you see the orange white, and then you see orange. Okay, each one has that. Now some cables that you get, they don't, the orange white isn't so pronounced. You can't really see it, like it looks like white. But so in this case, this one is pretty pronounced. You can see that. Okay, so you just make sure that those line up with where you're going to need to go. So here we're going to do, looking at my code, blue, orange, green, brown. Okay, so what I do, since blue is my first one, okay, I will get blue on there first. So I go like this. I triple check that I'm right. I put my thumb right on top of that the top of this 110 pin. I push down. Okay. Then I know I got orange next, so I'm gonna go orange. Double check. And what I do is I keep my thumb right here. You're not supposed to untwist this too much, but I put my finger on top of there, and I just try to keep this part from untwisting, and then just the part that's going over the pins is untwisting. Okay, so that's in there. Okay, green. Again, I put my finger on top of it like that. That way just only this part is untwisting. Okay, double check yourself. No matter how good you get at this, you double check yourself. Because what you don't want to do is end up terminating this whole patch panel and then realize that you made a mistake like 20 cables ago, and then you have to take them all off. So you want to just be double and triple checking yourself as you go along. So again, I always check myself. Okay, white, blue, blue, white, orange, orange, white, green, green, white, brown, brown. Okay. And I make mistakes all the time. I've been doing this for a long time, and I make mistakes because, again, you're not always paying attention. You're talking to somebody, or you're on the phone, or whatever, listening to music, something's happening, you're not paying attention. So you have to double check yourself. So so you have your Klein punch tool here, and you got the bladed side, and you have the punch down side. Okay, bladed. So you want to have the bladed side pointing out. You line up with your first one. Punch it down. Just go through, punch it down. Do two taps. The first punch is to punch it down, and the second is really to cut it. Okay, and you can see those wires came cut off right there. So that's it. I'm just going to cut this cable off over here because we'll do another one, as you can see. You can see how the cable's punched down there. Okay. White, blue, blue, white, orange, orange, white, green, green, white, brown, brown. Okay. So I will have these marked with the numbers as I go, okay? Because I've cut them. Once I get them to a certain point, I've cut them and the number's gone. And then I'm going to keep building on this, and then maybe I'll realize I made a mistake or something, whatever. So that's why I number those, okay? So the next cable comes in again. I come in, put my finger on there, okay? Now I'm right there, score the cable without cutting through, okay? Snap it open, pull. Get rid of the spline and the string. Okay, I'm angled away from the wire, so it's not going to cut it. Double check my color code: blue, orange, green, brown. Okay, so take that, take the blue. That's all I'm carrying. That's all I care about right now is the blue. Put my finger on there so it doesn't untwist. Seat it. Orange, same thing. Make sure it doesn't unseat. Keep my finger there. Gotta keep that twist. Make sure it's down. Green. Make sure it's down. Just twist it a little bit just to get it over the top. Brown. That's it. Okay. Once it's down there, make sure now, since I had my cutting side over here on the outside, I need to make sure I turn this, right, and then cut that way. I don't want to go this way again because that's going to end up cutting the wire on the side I don't want it to cut. So I'm going to turn it around, turn my blade around, and I do the same thing. Double check, 2 taps. Okay, see how that popped off? Maybe you saw that. I don't know if you can see it from there or not. One's to push down, one's to cut. Okay, and what you do when these don't cut is you don't pull up. You just kind of push down and wiggle. Maybe it's not cut enough. You got to go back and do it again. Usually you don't. You just go through. Sometimes people will just take all of these little tassels and twist them and then do what I'm just saying, like wiggle them off all at once. So I do that. Okay, and that's it. So number 2 is done. So as you can see, those cables, number 1, number 2 are punched down and labeled with Sharpie. Okay. So you just keep on doing that, so on and so forth, and that's how you punch down a patch panel, and make it so these pins will all line up with the corresponding pin on this side, and then you punch, and then what will happen is once this is installed in the rack, once this is all installed, I will turn around, install it in the rack, and then I will just punch. I will use a patch cord to go from each port, and then go into a switch from here to a switch, and then the switch goes to the firewall, and that goes out to the internet and what have you. Okay, so but that's how you install a patch panel. That's how you terminate a patch panel. You know, so this is going to be the course for today in a different module. Again, you would have this completely built out. And, you know, my philosophy is, you know, once you know how to do this one time the correct way, then you can do it 1,000 times. You can do it 1,000,000 times. And that's it. That's why you just learn how to do that one time correctly and then repeat. And that's how you do that correctly. Okay? So that's it for today. Again, my name is Savoy Wilson, Click Pro. Thanks for everybody who does watch. And leave comments. Leave a comment, or if you have any questions or whatever, go ahead and leave them in the comments section. And if you're interested in more advanced IT related training, and I will be making that available. So you can go ahead and put if you're interested, there's going to be a QR code that shows on this video. You can just show your phone to it. And I'm putting together an interest list for that. So if you're interested, you want more training, definitely fill out that. It's free. You just go in there and put your name and email address or whatever, and then I'll add you to the interest list, and we'll go into more detail. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for watching again, and have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.